All right, everyone. Well, hi, and welcome to Inside AWAI, creating a personal roadmap to well-paid writing. My name is Rebecca Matter, the one on the left, and I'm joined today by Pam Foster. Hi, Pam.
Doing?
Hey. So Pam is here today since I'm flying solo on this presentation. She's here in the Q&A to answer your questions as they come up. Also, you'll hear from Cameron and Jade, and Barb is here for those of you who are Circle of Success or Infinity members. Or plan to be in the future. You'll be hearing a lot from Barb, so she's here as well. Hi, Barb.
Hi, Beck. Hi, everybody.
So they'll be in the Q&A answering your questions, and then at the end, we'll open it up. So if you have any questions for me, I'm going to teach straight through. But if you have any questions for me, just go ahead and post them, and then I'll ask Pam to read them out at the end, and we'll discuss them. But with that, let's go ahead and jump on into today's session. So the goals for today, and the reason why I wanted to do this session, when you join AWAI and you learn about well-paid writing and all of the opportunities, it can be overwhelming. There are so many ways to make a great living as a writer these days. What used to just be this, tiny little, what we call secret profession, is no longer the case. And because of that, there are many more ways to make a living as a writer, and many more clients, and many more companies, and many more projects, many more programs, many more books, there's many more everything. And so it can be a little bit overwhelming to know what all you need to do, what all you want to do, and the answer is always different. So for every one of you on this webinar today, the answer will be different. Your roadmap, what steps should I take? Which programs should I take? Which project should I accept? Which client should I work for? Which opportunity should I say yes to? Every single one of you is going to have a different answer because you all have different goals and different reasons why you're doing this. So I want to go through creating a roadmap for you so that we can make sure that you're moving forward in the direction that you need to move and taking advantage of the opportunities that are good for you and avoiding those that aren't. So we'll go over some of those benefits of having a roadmap. I'm going to give you my 5-step process for writing success, just kind of the basics. When people say, okay, how do I make a living as a writer? What are the steps? We're going to go through that. One of those steps is going to be creating a roadmap. So within that 5-step process, we will actually create your roadmap. I'll give you some guidance on that. And then we'll just wrap things up with some tips for using it successfully, using this roadmap that you've built, and then we'll open it up for questions. So if you have any questions about your specific situation or about anything we talked about today, or just anything in general. We love doing these webinars. We came up with this idea earlier in the year just to get on and talk to you and just be here. Normally, Katie Akel is here as well. But so we cover a topic. If this is your first one, we cover a topic, and then we're just here to answer questions that you have. So whether it's about the topic or just about paid writing or freelancing or working with clients or picking a niche or whatever it is, we're here to help you continue to move forward and hopefully achieve your version of the writer's life. So let's get started. The benefits of having a roadmap. I've talked a little bit about them already, but the first one for me is actually building confidence. Most of the reason why writers feel apprehensive about moving forward in this world is they don't know what steps to take. And really, it's just because you haven't been given the guidance, what we're going to talk about today, to map it out. Once you have a map, if I tell you to drive from Florida to New Jersey, if you didn't take the time to map that out, that would be overwhelming just to get on the road and start driving to a location that I gave you in New Jersey. But if you spent a few minutes and you put together a map and you figured out where you were going to stop to stay the night and where the final destination was actually located and what roads you were going to take, you would have confidence in knowing that you could get there. You could get in the car, you could drive, you just need directions on how to get there. And so by having a roadmap, by taking the time and not just jumping in the car and going, but rather taking a second to plan, it will give you confidence that you have made the right decisions, that you know where you're going, you know where your destination is, you know what stops you're going to take along the way. You will have confidence in moving forward. So I find roadmaps are extremely beneficial in getting writers from the dreaming side of things into the doing side of things. With that, now you're in the car driving and you're confident, you know where you're going, it maintains forward progress. The roadmap ensures that you continue to move forward because you always know the next step you're going to take. I'm a huge productivity person. I do a lot in any given day, and it's because I'm always prepared. When I sit down at my desk in the morning, I know exactly what I'm working on. My list, my overall list at any given time is extremely long and overwhelming. And if I sit down at my desk in the morning and said, oh, what am I going to work on today? I could be paralyzed easily for hours because of just not knowing what of all of these projects I should take on. But by being prepared every day and knowing these are the 3 things that you're going to tackle when you sit down at your desk in the morning, it ensures that I'm always making forward progress because I'm not allowing myself to get overwhelmed and, oh, I'm going to have to put a website, I'm going to have to pick a niche, I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to do this. You're going to have to do all those things, but you don't have to worry about those today. Those are on the roadmap, and they're not what's on our roadmap today. We're just going to do the task today. We know what the task will be tomorrow, and so therefore, every single day, you're going to move forward. So I love it for that. It will help you save time and money. That's the one thing. Yes, there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of programs, a lot of books. There will always be something that you can buy, something else that you can do, something else that you can take. Not only is that expensive, but it takes time. I don't want you to waste 8 weeks taking a program that isn't part of your plan. That's the last thing I want for you, because now you've lost 8 weeks. I want you to make sure that the programs that you're taking, that the time that you're spending, even webinars like this hour is valuable to you. I want to make sure that you're spending your time wisely, because your time is money, but it's worth something. Even when you're not having to put money up for something, there's an opportunity cost of what that hour could have been used for. So it makes sure that you're saving time and money. And then finally, it helps you say goodbye to that bright, shiny object syndrome that we all have. I've been with AWAI 13 years now, and I have wanted to be a travel writer, grant writer, resume writer, B2B, I mean, any writer that you can think of. I read a promo, and by the end of it, I'm like, especially if Paul's written it, one of our founders, I get to the end of the promo, I'm like, I want to do this. I want to be a grant writer. I want to write for nonprofits. Like, whatever the thing is, I get so excited. I've literally bought domain names because I've convinced myself in that moment that I'm going to be the social media person for Austin, Texas. So I own ATX social media. I mean, I get excited just like you do, and we call that bright, shiny object syndrome. And what that does is it gets you excited, but then it gets you distracted. It stops you from moving forward. And by having a roadmap, we're going to know, is this opportunity that's presenting itself a good thing for me, or is it just a bright, shiny object? Is it something that's just trying to take me off my path? And if it's going to take me off my path, I'm going to mark it as a bright, shiny object. I'm not saying I'm never going to do it. Maybe I'll be a grant writer, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. But I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm going to put that in a file marked bright, shiny objects that I'm really excited about, but I'm not going to do anything with it today because it takes me off my path. If it keeps me on my path, if it's this opportunity to build a website, and hey, I need a website, that's on my roadmap, this is great, then great. I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity and move forward. It helps you have that litmus test of, yes, this is a good opportunity or a bad one. And you'll even use it for clients. You'll get to a point as you start moving down your roadmap that you're going to start having opportunities. Projects are going to present themselves. Clients are going to pitch to you, like, can you do this for me? You're going to look at your map and say, it's so hard to turn this down. I want to say yes, but the amount of time that this project is going to take me is going to slow my forward progress down so much. I could be further in 2 months if I say no to this client. So I'm going to have to say no because that opportunity is not right for me right now. It's a bright, shiny object, which I know for some of you just starting out, you're thinking, why would you turn down a project? But you'll see as you get into this, your time becomes so valuable. You don't want to lock up with someone who does not fit your long-term plan. You don't want to get into a situation where you're spending the only 20 hours that you have a week working on a client who isn't paying you what you want, but you don't have any more hours to market to get a better client, to replace that client because you're already maxed out at 20 hours. So that's kind of part of this whole roadmap thing. So lots of benefits to having a roadmap. So now let's get into that 5-step process. When I'm talking about 5 steps, this is like a 30,000-foot view, but this is when you want to be working as a paid writer, what are the steps you take? The first one is defining the writer's life. Remember, the roadmap is coming in one of the steps of these 5 steps, but I want to take you from the beginning because it's impossible to write a roadmap if you don't do the foundation work, the stuff that you need up front. So the first thing everybody needs to do is to define the writer's life. This may seem a little woo-woo, but I promise you, you're going to need it. It's good for you now. It's going to make sure that your roadmap is accurate, and it will help you down the line when self-doubt stuff comes in, when things just, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? Did I make them? All that stuff. It comes. It's natural. We're humans. So this will make sure that when that happens, you keep pushing forward and you keep moving forward. But why are you doing this? What is your motivation? Is it to leave your job? Is it to have more time with your family? Is it to not have to commute anymore? Is it to move up into something else? Maybe you've been in a career that has a ceiling and you just want to make more money. That's okay. Money, I like money. Money is a good thing. It's okay just to say, I just want to make more money. I have a friend who's a mom who just needed to write to make a couple $100 extra bucks so she could take her daughter to mommy and me classes. She was a stay-at-home mom. That's a great thing. We can work with you on that. Other people have had great careers, big legal medical careers, made a ton of money, but they're done with that. They're ready for the next career of their life, or maybe you're retiring. and you don't want to just sit and watch game shows. You want to still have a life. You still want to live your lifestyle. So what is your motivation for doing this? Why are you here? Why did you find AWAI? What intrigued you about us and the opportunity of making a living as a writer? How much money do you want to make from your writing? And again, most writers that I speak to have problems talking about this. You need to get very comfortable with this. You need to be able to tell yourself, I want to make this. And then maybe bump it up a little bit. Because some people I find are a little bit nervous to make bigger money. The thought is overwhelming to them that they could make as much as they really can as a copywriter. And you don't have to. I'm just saying, how much do you want to make, though? Be specific. Write it down. Long term. 2 years from now, I want to be making X amount of dollars per month as a writer, right? That's how much we want to make. I want you to know that number, and I want you to write it down. Now, you can always change it. It can always go up later. But today, before you write your roadmap, I want you to think about that number, and I want you to write it down, because that's going to be your unit of measurement. That's going to be how you measure whether you're succeeding or not. There has to be something that allows us to say, yes, I'm hitting the mark. Yes, I'm scoring what I want. You know, I'm making what I want. I'm doing the things that I want to do, and I'm just whatever it is. How much money do you want to make from your writing? Then I also want you to write down how much you need to make from your writing. So for those of you who are looking to go from full-time jobs into a freelance life, your need is going to be different than your want. You may make $60,000 a year, but you don't actually need to make $60,000 in order to transition. It might be that you only need to make $30,000, at which point you would then have 40 hours a week because you'd be able to leave your job. And then that would take you back up to 60, whatever the thing is. It would be, let's say you're only working 10 hours a week, and you only need $30,000 in order to transition. So once you can hit $30,000 working 10 hours a week in your spare time, now you're going to quit your job. Now you've got 40 more hours a week. So in theory, you'd have 40 more, so 120,000 more coming in if you work the full 50 hours. So how much do you actually need to make? Because that number is important. That's the one where you're going to tell yourself, once I hit this, then I know I'm comfortable making the leap because I know that there's enough money on the other side of this fence. I'm confident that I can leave this job. Many of you are, you know, you have livelihoods. You've already set them up. You already own your house. You own your car, whatever the thing is. You've got mortgages. You've got bills to pay. You've got kids in college, or you're saving for college, or you're paying your student loans, or whatever the thing is. You have expenses. So make sure that you're aware of what those expenses are and how much you need to make, and write that one down. And then finally, write what your life will look like once you're living the writer's life. What does it look like? What time do you get up? Do you write in the morning? Do you write in the night? You know, do you go to yoga, lunch with friends? Are you a golfer? You know, do you write part of the year and then take July and August off? You know, I know many different freelancers who have varying degrees of success who all have very different lifestyles. You know, like Clayton likes to get up at really early in the morning. I'll get emails from Clayton Makepeace at 5 a.m. But then he's done in the afternoon. He's not writing in the afternoon. Paul Hollington is the same way. I was talking to Ed Gandia the other day, one of our success stories. He's a great coach in B2B now for getting your business up, and he takes the summer off. You know, he works earlier in the year, and then these summer months right now, he winds down. So your life will be different than everybody else on the phone right now, but it's important to think about what your life will look like. That's the thing that's going to keep you motivated. Money is great. Money is, again, it's a unit of measurement, but it's not motivation enough for most people to get you out of bed in the morning. It's not enough to make you feel really good. I'm sure we've all gotten a raise at some point in our lives. The raise is great in that minute. The minute you get the raise, you're like, yes, that's awesome. You go home the next day, you start thinking about what's the next raise that you're going to get. The money, it just, for some reason, it just goes away very easily. It's very easy to use it really quickly. So it's important to think beyond that. What's the thing that really is going to get you excited about your future? So write down what your writer's life is going to look like. So now we know why you're doing this, what's your motivation, how much you want to make, how much you need to make, and what you're moving towards. Because you want, if your goal here is to set up a lifestyle where you're only working 20 hours a week, you don't want to set up a business that's going to have you working 60 hours a week, right? You want to be thinking about, does this business fit? Does this opportunity, does this client, does this program, does this thing, does this fit in where I'm hoping to go? This is your destination for your roadmap. This is your location in New Jersey, or wherever else it is. Where are you going with all of this? So I really urge you to take the time and write that down, because a roadmap without a destination isn't a roadmap. We got to get you somewhere. So now we know that. Step 2 is to choose a path. We need an actual place that we're going. We need the specifics of what are we going to be? We're going to make a living as a writer. Fantastic. Doing what, right? There's so many opportunities. You're going to have to be a little more specific than that. We can't just go out and say, I'm a freelance writer. Great. Who are your clients? what services do you offer? I mean, there's, 50 plus assignments that you could take on. There's millions of companies literally in the US and Canada. You're going to have to narrow it down just a little bit just to help us figure out how we're going to market you and who we're going to go after for clients and what services we're going to provide. So this is an important decision. This is a decision that's going to be probably your biggest roadblock in all of paid writing. Getting past this one is the hardest because you will second guess. Am I making the right decision? How do I know if I chose the right path? What if I choose the wrong path? And you will stay and you will sit and you'll just agonize over this and you'll change direction a bunch of times. But we're not going to do that. We're going to pick a path. We're going to make the decision because once you choose it, the rest, as you're going to see, falls into place. It's just this one decision. If you can make this decision, this will be the hardest one that you'll make in almost your entire career, is whether or not which path you're going to take. And it shouldn't be that hard. And so we're going to go through how you're going to do that. First, think about what writing experience you already have. Might be none. That's okay. But what writing experience do you have? Maybe you like to write fiction. You've written grants, resumes. Most people I've talked to have done something. They've journaled, they've blogged, they've written a novel that's sitting on their shelf, but still, they did write, or they wrote in their job in some capacity. They wrote their website copy, or they had to do the communication that went out to the company every day about inventory, whatever. What writing experience do you have? What work experience do you have? You're a nurse, you're a teacher, an engineer, you repair cars, you're a gardener, whatever it is. What experience do you have? Because one of the things you could do is choose a path that matches your experience, and we're going to look at that in a minute. But think about that, because that might be your easiest path into paid writing. And then finally, how much do you want to work? Is this a full-time thing? Are you looking like, I'm in. I want to replace my full-time job. I'm comfortable working 40 hours a week. I want a full-time. I want to make what you can make working 40 hours. Or no, I'm raising my young kids. This is a part-time thing for me. I've maybe got 20 hours a week, or I just don't want to work 40 hours a week. I only want to work mornings. That's fair. And then, or this is a spare time thing for me. I don't really want, and we're going to look at these opportunities, ones that might match up for you, but I'm not really looking for a job anymore, whether it's because I'm retiring or I'm in school or I like my job. I love my job. Just want to make some money on the side as a writer. So I like to do it in my spare time. But answer all of these questions, because that is going to make it very obvious which path you should or could take. So let's look at some of those paths. So your typical six-figure path, we call these, paths or specialties, if you will, careers that you can choose. These are the top three that we normally talk about. We talk about being a direct response copywriter. We talk about being an online copywriter, which shows everything for the web, and then business-to-business copywriter, which is instead of writing for companies who are targeting consumers, people like you and me buying, they are targeting other businesses to buy products. So business A knows they need to buy a copier. Business B tells business A, here's why our copier is the best copier. They already know they need to make the decision. They're just trying to figure out what's the best product for them, who has the right product for their needs, for their business. Back up to the top, the direct response copywriter typically is writing for consumers, right? And their job is to get someone to take action. When I say direct response copywriter, I'm not just saying long sales letter writer. This is all forms. It could be argued that every form of copywriting is direct response, whether it's online, whether it's business to business. If you're trying to get someone to take an action and that action is trackable and measurable, you're a direct response copywriter. Even if you're writing online content, people think, oh, that's not direct response copy, that's content writing. No, it's still direct response because you're trying to either persuade someone to ultimately do something. Maybe it's 6 content pieces down the line, but you want them to identify with your brand or eventually buy something or share it with their social media or click a link to sign up for the newsletter, whatever it is, whatever action they're taking. That's technically direct response. But these are the 3 buckets that we think about when we think of these, the big full-time 6-figure paths. You're going to be a direct response copywriter, or you're going to be a web writer, or you're going to be a business-to-business copywriter. And then within those, you can focus even more. So I'm a direct response copywriter who focuses on nonprofits or who targets accounting software or legal or collectibles or anything. Niches are industries that you can focus whatever form of writing. Even if you're a business-to-business copywriter, you might be a business-to-business copywriter focusing on the pet industry, right? Pet manufacturing companies who are selling to stores and other manufacturers. You could be a consumer. You could be a direct response copywriter for the pet industry for companies who are selling directly to consumers. So no matter what you chose from the other page, you can now fine-tune it by picking an industry. And this is where your past experience comes in. If you have worked for 10 years in solar technology, let's say, and I always use this example, number 10, if you've worked in solar technology for 10 years and have zero writing experience, right, and you launch your business as a copywriter who focuses on the solar technology industry, and you go head-to-head for a job with someone like me who has almost 20 years now of writing experience, but I have zero solar technology experience, and you and I go head-to-head for the same job, who are they going to hire? Is it you who has a solar technology experience, or is it me who has the writing experience? It's you every day of the week, because I will never catch up to the amount of knowledge that you have about the industry and how it works and why people buy and this versus that and the jargon, all of that. It would be impossible for me to catch up to you. You would be able to learn the writing skills way faster than I could ever learn the solar technology information that's in your head. So this is why you wrote down earlier when I asked you about what experience do you have in the industry, in any industry, because it might be that you're a direct response copywriter in solar technology or a B2B copywriter in solar technology. So you're going to be choosing a path, and then if you choose one of the main copywriting paths, you're also going to be choosing one of these niches. Now, this is more of like the, I want to be a copywriter, I want to make a lot of money, so this is a best practice. And we have a whole webinar on niches over at Inside AWAI. I'm going to show you the link at the end so that you can go back to it. But no matter what background you come from, no matter what even if you just were a babysitter, and that's all you've ever done, no matter what, zero work experience, if you've done anything in any industry, again, cutting lawns, anything, there's something that you bring to the table that you could specialize in that would make you very marketable as a copywriter. So writing paths, specific niches within those writing paths. But now let's look at part-time paths. If you're looking to be part-time, you're most likely not going to want to learn offer a whole bunch of services. You're not going to want to have a lot of long projects. You're going to want to have projects that you can do. You're not going to write 50-page sales letters because it's going to take you so long because you're only working 15 hours a week. So you're going to want to focus then and choose writing specialties. So maybe that's your niche. You're going to focus yourself, instead of being a direct response copywriter in the pet industry, you might say, I'm just going to do social media for the pet industry. I'm just going to fix on this one specialty because I only want to work 15 hours a week. So I'm just going to write emails, or I'm just going to do social media, or I'm going to be a case study writer or a white paper writer on that. I mean, everything that you can think of, any of these one-off projects, and I could name at least 50 if I had enough space on the slide just to keep on going, you could specialize in anything. And there's no right answer. The best way that I recommend people learn about this stuff is just go to our catalog. Even though it's all selling programs, of course, I'm not saying go to the catalog and buy all the programs, but go to the catalog because we do a lot of research, right? If there's an opportunity for someone to make a living as a writer and there are people doing it, AWAI is going to know about it. We're going to research it. We're going to find the best experts in the industry, and that's how we create our programs. That's just good business sense. And in doing that, we research the opportunity. And those sales letters have all the data that you're going to need, how much money you can make, what the projects look like, how long they take, how you land the clients, who the clients are. It's all going to be in the promos. So if you're looking at this, if you're new to us and saying, what the heck is a white paper? Just go to the catalog. It's such a great tool for learning about all this stuff. But these are potential part-time paths. Again, you could just do social media. You could log in 2 hours in the morning, you can log in 2 hours in the afternoon, and you're pretty much done with your social media projects for the day. And then go off and, spend your day how you like. And then finally, the spare time paths. These are opportunities. When I think spare time, that means a client is never going to put a deadline on me, and they're never going to expect me to take a call. So that is no clients. I want to be anywhere I want to be. I want to take a month off. I don't want to have any retainers. I want to have total freedom and flexibility and have not be responsible to call to anyone. So these are those opportunities. And I did a whole Inside AWAI session with Katie on this, the no client path. But money-making websites, a website about a topic that you're interested in, ebooks, information publishing, or finally an email business where, you are the person and you're building a list and you're sending an email. And you make money when people on the list buy things from your email, but no one's asking you to write the email. No one's saying it's due. You never have to ask for another opportunity because it's your list. You can mail it as much as you want. It's really up to you. So there's options for just spare time paths. Now, this was a huge crash course. If you are feeling even more overwhelmed because I showed you all those paths, I apologize. But just pick one. It doesn't even matter what you choose. Just make a choice. Give yourself a goal. I'm going to choose by Monday. I'm going to spend this weekend looking at this, going through some of these opportunities, and I'm just going to make a choice. I can always choose again. And no matter what you choose, let's say you choose something, right? You choose solar technology writer. and you work in that for 3 months. You move forward, and 3 months down the line, you realize that's just not your thing. You know what you're really passionate about? Is grant writing. And you should have picked that path, but you thought there was more money here, but really you're passionate in grant writing. Well, hey, guess what? You just spent 3 months building a business. You have 3 more months of business experience. It's not going to take you 3 months to launch your next business. It's going to take you a couple of weeks because you know what it takes to put up a website. You know how to pick your niche. You know how to put your LinkedIn profile. You know what it's like to reach out to clients. You know what it's like to work with them. You have all this business experience. I could launch, people present business ideas to me, and it's just not overwhelming anymore because my brain quickly sees exactly what would need to happen if we decided to launch that business or that division or that product. The standard operating procedure, if you will. Pam and I talk about this a lot. It just immediately pops up in my head. I know what it takes. So it's easy for me, where it might have taken me a year to get a business off the ground. I'd be comfortable saying I can get a business off the ground in a couple of weeks now because I know how to do it, and you'll do that too. So choose a path, start moving down it. Maybe you have to change direction, but at least you'll be moving forward. The other side of it would be that you didn't make a choice, and 3 months down the line, you're still at day one. You've not learned anything. You have zero business knowledge, and you're still going to have to now take 3 more months to get that first business off. Now you're 6 months out. So just make a choice. Make a deadline for yourself, whether it's Monday, whether it's next Friday, and just say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this choice, and I'm going to move forward. Because then it's time to create your personal roadmap. So take a breath, take a sip of water, and let's get into the roadmap part. So the first step in the roadmap, we define our destination, right? We can't just get in our car and start driving anywhere. We have to drive somewhere. We have to pick a place. So we're defining our destination. Where are you hoping to be? What kind of copywriter are you going to be? I'm going to be an e-newsletter writer for professional service providers. I'm going to be a copywriter for the financial market. I'm going to be a grant writer in education or a social media writer for health and fitness communities. It doesn't matter. Whatever your path is, we're just plugging it into the GPS at this point, but we have to have a destination. So I want you to be able to tell me, I want to be this kind of copywriter doing this kind of service, providing this kind of service. You could say to me, I'm going to be a B2B copywriter in the solar technology field, writing white papers, case studies, and video scripts. It could be that specific, or it could be something like this, but you have to have somewhere. You've got to have a definition of who you're going to be as a writer. Remember, it can change, but you've got to have something in order to do the roadmap. The second step you're going to do is to determine what skills now you need to learn and how you're going to learn them. So now that I've said I want to be a B2B copywriter in solar technology, writing case studies, white papers, and video scripts, well, I don't need a solar technology background because I've already got that, so check. I do need B2B skills, though, and I need to learn how to write white papers, case studies, and video scripts. So those are the things I need to learn because that's what I want to offer, and so how am I going to learn them? Maybe I'm going to take this program, or maybe I'm going to do this event, or I'm going to go to this workshop, or whatever you're going to do. It's the what and the how. What do you have to learn, and how are you going to learn them? So, for example, maybe you want to be a direct response copywriter. I need to learn how to write persuasively. How am I going to do it? I'm going to finish the accelerated program that I bought. I'm going to get through that. That's my goal, and then I'm going to launch my business. Maybe it's that you want to be a B2B writer. So it's I know I need to learn how to write the best B2B projects. I want to be able to take them on. I want to take on. I only want 3 clients. I don't want to have to worry about finding 8 white paper clients. I just want 3 clients, and I want to service all of their needs. So if they want a case study, if they want a lead gen piece, if they want a content for their website, if they want me to write a report, I want to be able to service. I want all my business because that's possible in B2B. You know, they have so many touches with every given sale that copywriters, it's an ongoing process. You can just get assignment after assignment after assignment. So I want to learn the best B2B projects. How am I going to do it? Well, hey, B2B, instead of taking all of AWAI's programs, I saw that AWAI has that workshop, this 4 weeks to B2B mastery. I'm going to do that. Or you don't. Maybe your how would be, I'm going to take these 4 programs. I'm going to start with case studies, white papers, video scripts, and websites, and that's it. And then I'm going to launch my business. I'll learn the other projects as they go, as I come. You know, whatever your how is, it doesn't matter. But you want to know, you want to define what skills you need and how you're going to learn them. Maybe you want to become a faster writer. You've probably heard about, you know, I will say his workshop is not for everyone. This is for, like, serious direct response copywriters who want to make, these are like the 6-figure people, the $1 million people, the ones who want to write, you know, the big sales letters and make big royalties. But he's got this workshop called, I think it's the Make-Piece Method for writing $1 million sales letters in 7 days or less. You want to write faster? Maybe that's how you're going to do it. I'm going to go, I'm going to learn from Clayton, I'm going to talk to the 10 copy chiefs who are going to be there. I'm going to work with the copywriters. I'm going to become an awesome writer, and I'm going to kick some butt in the fall. I'm going to go to boot camp with all of this experience and, you know, really hit it hard. Maybe that's you. Or I want to write for the web. That's right where my heart speaks. You know, I love this idea of social media and online content and how it all works together. So I'm going to take web copywriting 2.0, whatever it is, whatever your things are. What you're doing here is you're writing down exactly what you need so that when I send you a promotion for product ABC, you can say, wait a second. That sounds really exciting, Rebecca, but it's not on my roadmap. My roadmap said take web copywriting 2.0. So this thing over on B2B Mastery, I don't want to be, like, even though it sounds awesome, that's not for me because it's not on my roadmap. It doesn't fit my roadmap. It's something different. So that's why you're doing this. What skills do you need and how are you going to learn them? Then you're going to make a list of any business building tasks you want to accomplish. And I'll show you the ones that you need to do, but it could be something like this. I know I need to pick a niche. Okay, I'm going to write that down as a thing on my roadmap, something I have to do. Even though I've picked my specialty or my path, I'm going to be a direct response copywriter. I'm just not sure what niche I'm going to pick. You know, I don't know if it's financial or fundraising or self-help. I've kind of got a lot of interest, but I know I need to do that. I can't launch in all three places at once. So that's a business building decision that I have to make. I need to pick a niche. Once I've got my niche, I know I need to put up a website. I need a LinkedIn profile. Maybe I'm going to write content. You know, as part of my business building activities, I want to be in the mommy market. And so I'm going to identify 10 mommy blogs, and I'm going to present articles to them and get some traffic, some stuff out there so that people know that I'm the girl who writes for the mommy market. Maybe I'm going to have a logo or a header design for my website. Whatever it is, write down those tasks because those are going to play in too. That list right now, you know, might look like, oh my gosh, I have to do all these things. It's so overwhelming. But when we get to the roadmap part, which we're about to do, you're going to outline those things. It's not going to be that you're going to do 20 things tomorrow. You're going to do one of the 20 things tomorrow, and then the next day you're going to do number 2. And the next day, you're going to do number 3, and you're going to keep moving forward. But right now, we're getting everything in the list, right? All the skills that we need and how we're going to learn them, all the things we want to do to build our business and what we're going to do to accomplish them. We're getting it all in the list because we want to organize that list now of how we're going to tackle it. Once you've got this laundry list of stuff that you need to do for your business, you're going to organize those tasks in the order that you plan to complete them in, assigning tentative deadlines. So let's say you're going to be a direct response copywriter, and this is a very simplistic roadmap. I'm actually going to post a bonus later on. Maybe we'll do a follow-up session where I actually get some of you on the phone and go through your roadmaps with you. But I'm going to post some very specific examples of people who've written to me and I've created their roadmaps. And I've actually mapped out the what, the why, what decisions they had to make based on what they told me. I'm going to post those as a bonus with this just so that you can see where your roadmap should end up. But this is simplistic. So month 1, I want to be a direct response copywriter. I'm going to begin the accelerated program for 6-figure copywriting, and I'm going to pick my niche. That's my skill. I'm going to get some skills, and I'm going to make a business decision right out of the gate. And that's one little inside tip for you guys. Always be doing something to build your business. You don't want to take a bunch of skill building programs. I don't want you taking 3 different skill programs at one time. It's just too confusing, and you're not going to make enough forward progress. I want you to finish a program and then move on to the next one. If you want to learn case studies, white papers, and video scripts, take case studies, finish it. Take white papers, finish it, then take video scripts. Don't do all 3 at once because you're just moving forward at like this really slow pace. You only have so many hours in the day, and I'd rather you feel accomplished and like check it off the list. Like, yeah, finish that program. Next. So always be doing something skill building, but always be doing something business building too. So you can, that way you're not doing just skills and you don't have a bunch of skills and no one to pay you for them. And if you're just doing business building, you don't have a bunch of clients and nothing to offer them. You know, you want to have that good balance. So month 1, finish the program, and I'm going to pick my niche. Month 2, I'm going to finish that program because it takes about 2 months to get through. I'm going to put up my website. I'm going to do it. This is remember the what and the how are we going to do it. I'm going to use Rebecca's Build Your Freelance Website in 4 Days webinar series, or I'm going to hire someone or whatever yours looks like. I'm going to put up my website, and I'm going to create a targeted LinkedIn profile. That doesn't look that scary, right? Month 2, all you're doing is finishing a program, putting up a website, and creating your LinkedIn profile. And at this point now, 2 months from now you have a business. At that point, you're going to launch your business. They're going to say, yes, there's other programs I could take. Yes, I can totally learn more, and my skills will be better, and I can get stronger, and blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't matter. I'm not going to let that stop me from launching my business because I have enough. I've got the accelerated program. I've got a website. I've got a niche. It is time to launch. So I'm going to launch my business. That's month 2, not so scary. Month 3, I'm going to learn how to write copy for that niche that I chose. I'm going to start marketing myself now because I want to start getting some clients ready to go. but I'm going to learn how to be a better writer in that niche. I'm going to start reading their samples and looking at their websites and see what people are writing about and maybe take a course on that niche. But that's what's going to happen in month 3. I don't have to worry about that in month 2 or month 1. I know I'm going to do it. It's on my roadmap, but I don't have to worry about it until month 3. Month 3, I'm going to make a list of 50 clients that I want to write for because I know what my niche is. And then I'm going to go back and listen to Joshua's inside AWAI. Joshua Boswell is our resident getting clients expert. He did an inside AWAI session on marketing yourself, how you do that, how you go about getting clients. And I'm going to give you the link to all the past inside AWAIs. They're all free. They're all posted online. We're even turning them into reports to make it even easier to get through. And then I'm going to start marketing myself. Not too scary, right? Now, this list may have looked scary if you left it all in one big line, but when you just break it down like this, you put all the things in a list, and then you just start chunking them out. What's realistic for me to do in 1 month? What's realistic in month 2? What's realistic in month 3? Now you've got this roadmap that you know what steps you're going to take. So just like me, when you sit down to your computer, you know what steps you're taking. You don't have to worry about all the steps. You just have to worry about the next step because you took the time to write the roadmap. So when you get to a stoplight and you don't know whether to go right or left, you can look at your roadmap and say, oh, I'm making a right here, right? I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think, oh my gosh, which way do I go? Which program do I take? Do I buy this? Do I not buy this? Do I say yes? Do I not say yes? It's on your roadmap. You've got it. So it gives you that, you basically will continue on until you have a clear roadmap of steps you can follow. So you make that laundry list, and then once everything is off that list and now in your structured roadmap, you're good. Now, for those of you who are like me, who are slightly competitive and want to have bonus exercises, I want you to assign specific deadlines. Remember, before I had month 1, month 2, and the roadmaps I'm going to show you as the bonus for this session are going to be very specific with dates. But if it was me, I know that today is somewhere in July. I don't actually know the actual, I think it's July 8th, but I would say, okay, 9th, 10th, 11th, Monday's July 11th. July 11th, I'm going to be doing this. By July 15th, I will have finished X, Y, and Z. Next week, I would literally write out the dates, and then I would get a planner, and I would schedule my activities. And I'm really anal like that, but again, I get a lot done because of it, but I would know every single week, I'm working on the accelerated program. This week, I'm going to work on sections, 218 through 284 and blah, blah, blah. For those of you who are in the companion series for the accelerated program, we do that for you. You know it's going to take you 10 weeks to get through it if you're going to do 1 week at a time and not double up on your sessions. We're going to give you those specific page numbers. Be as specific as we are in the companion series as with your own schedule here. For those of you who aren't aware, the companion series is just where Katie and I and some of our experts walk you through the accelerated program to make sure that you're mastering the concepts. Some of you may have just gone through the B2B one. We have a B2B companion series that walks you through our foundation program. We are going to be doing a web one in August that walks you through. So for those of you who like a little more, a little more schedule and having someone tell you what to do each week, we offer these companion series to help you with that. But schedule all of your activities out, and then bonus points, set financial goals. You knew you were going to launch your business at the end of month 2. What does that mean for you? Maybe you're not even, you don't want to psych yourself out, so you're not going to make any money month 3, fine. I again, I'm a little more aggressive and competitive. I'd probably put something in there. But maybe for you, you don't want to. You're going to wait till month 4. Totally fine. It'll just be a nice bonus surprise when you make money in month 3. But set financial goals. Then month 4, what does that look like? I'm going to land 2 clients and at least 4 case study projects. Okay, well, what is that going to look like? Case study is worth about $1,500. So that's $3,000. I've got 2 clients, that's $6,000. So I'm going to make $6,000 in month 4. I'm going to land 4 case study projects in March that I'm going to do in April, and I'm going to get paid for them in month 4. Whatever it looks like for you, it could be different for each of you. Or I'm going to go to Clayton's event, I'm going to land one of those clients, and that's big. I'm going to land basically a $10,000 opportunity for sales letters that I want to be making X amount of royalties by this time next year. As detailed as you can get, as specific as you can get, it will be better for you. It'll keep you motivated, and you'll know that you're achieving these goals. Step 4 is obvious. Now you've got your roadmap. So what do you do step 4? You have to do the work. This is not a get-rich-quick thing. This is building a business. This is long-term. You're learning a financially valuable skill that you will have for the rest of your life. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can destroy your business. Nobody can fire you one day randomly. Sure, a client can let you go, but you're going to be so well set up at this point, you'll know how to get other clients, and hopefully you'll have so much underneath, you'll have enough spread out between many clients that that's not going to bother you. But this is something that you're going to work to have, and you will never lose this. The skills that you're learning today, those of you taking an accelerated program, not only can you be a copywriter, but you'll see it's everywhere. It's no matter where you end up, whether it's writing fiction and selling your books to publishers, whether it's grant writing, whether it's resume writing, whether it's traveling, no matter where you end up, learning to write persuasively and what you're doing right here will be something that nobody can ever take away from you, and it will always benefit you. Even if you go back to a full-time job in the future, you know, you do this for 10 years and you're like, I kind of miss it. I miss corporate life. You're still going to be even better in that job. You're going to make more money in that job because you're going to do a better job selling yourself. You're going to know what it takes to run a business. Nobody can take this from you. So it takes work, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. Nothing in life that doesn't take work gives you a big return, right? The things in life that are most valuable to us, the things that really have impact on our life, are the things that scare the crap out of us and take work. It is what it is, and that's what you're doing right now. So do the work to get the skills that you need. And then step 5, launch your business. I promise you, there will always be another webinar. There'll always be another call. There will always be another opportunity, something that will get you to stop moving forward, to say, if I just do this one more thing, then I'll be ready. One more thing. I promise you there will always be one more thing. I promise you. I'm looking at a stack of books on my desk right now that could easily be reasons for me not to move forward because I haven't read that one more. I just need to read this one more book, and then I'm going to be, you got to launch. And I promise you that for where you are today, when you launch your business, you're only going to get better, right? I told the story before, but I started with AWAI almost 13 years ago, and I immediately was like, oh, I want to be a copywriter. I want to live the writer's life. So I took the accelerated program, and a couple years later, I was like, okay, I want to write for AWAI. I wrote stuff, and it was good enough for us to publish. I mean, this is AWAI, and it was good enough for this company to publish it and put it out there. I am mortified to this day, and luckily some of it's under my maiden name. I'm mortified at some of the stuff that I wrote back then that I thought was so good and that the company we thought was good, and it was good enough, but it's not what I can do now. I can do so much better now. I'm a better writer, and I'm going to be a better writer 10 years from now. I'm going to get even better. If you look at the list, like the people who are going to Clayton's event, it's amazing. These A-level copywriters who are paying to go to his event because they still want to do better. Greg Grio from Legacy Publishing, he's already an A-level copywriter in his own right. He's on the list to go to Clayton's workshop because he's still investing in learning and doing because he knows he can get better. He wants to make more. He wants to work faster and maybe work less in order to make more. But long-winded way of saying, launch your business. Because wherever you start today, you're going to get better, and you don't want to wait to a point where you think you're good enough because you will always tell yourself that you're not good enough. And I'm telling you, if you get to the accelerated program and whatever program you're taking, when you get to the end, you will be good enough. If you do the exercises, if you put in the work, you will be good enough. You're going to get better, but you're good enough, and you're worth it, and people will pay you, and they will happily pay you. So have that confidence, launch your business, knowing that you'll do better later. You're going to get better. So what are the steps to launching your business? The first one is to define your business. What are you? What services do you provide? What services do you not provide? Who do you work for? What's your ideal client? I want to work for, mid-sized companies in the solar technology space. I don't want to work for the big ones. I want to work for like the little ones, the ones that are trying really hard because I feel like I can help them. They have the money. They're not the tiny companies. They're the mid-sized ones. They've got the money, but I don't want to have to go through the 20 rounds of approvals with the big companies, like the Googles and the Oracles, and, I want to work for this accounting software company, and whatever it is. Define the business. Who are the clients that you want to work for? What services do you want to offer, right? I'm a B2B copywriter in the solar technology space who offers case studies, white papers, and video scripts. Define that business. Put up a website that says that just says that. And then what you bring to the table. We talk about this in great detail in other sessions, but what is your business? Put up the site. Put together some samples. Everyone thinks this is another big roadblock. I don't have any samples. How do I get samples if I can't get experience? Because nobody hires me without samples. Not true. You can write samples. Write samples with whatever you're looking to offer. If you want to write case studies, write sample case studies. If you take our case studies program, you will write sample case studies, which you can put on your website. If you want to write emails, put them on your website. Content, whatever it is, just write samples of the thing that you want to offer in the industry that you want to target. So if you want to be a financial copywriter, write a financial sales letter. If you want to be an email writer for the golf industry, write 5 emails for the golf industry. Doesn't matter. It can be a fake company. Doesn't matter. All we want as clients is to see samples that you can write the style that you say you're writing emails, whatever it is, and that you understand our market. That's samples. Put together samples. Don't let that be a roadblock. Research potential clients, and then finally be specific when reaching out to them. And we did, again, we did a whole session on Inside AWAI, but what goal or problem do they have that you can help with? You know, you want to increase your readership of your e-letter. I do that. You want more people in your newsletter and more open rates. I'm a professional newsletter writer. You want better engagement on social media. I'm a social media expert. Be very specific when reaching out to clients. And then some final additional tips for success: use the roadmap to evaluate opportunities. Remember, when things appear and things present themselves, whether it's a program that we offer, or someone else offers, or a project, or a client, or a spec assignment, anything, what am I going to have to do to take this thing? Money, time, anything. Does it keep me on my path, or does it take me off the path? If it takes me off the path, I'm marking it as a bright, shiny object and saving it for later. If it keeps me on my path, I'm going to consider it, because it's going to keep me, I might have to reshuffle my path a little bit, my roadmap, and that's okay, but it fits in my roadmap. It keeps me moving forward towards my goal. Create a tracking system to monitor your progress. If you just map this out, you'll be able to check it off along the way anyways. I know that you can't see my hands right now, but I'm visually showing you how you would write it out and check it off in the air. But you can literally check out your roadmap. I've made it this far. I've made it this far. You know, picture like one of those little measurement things like on a survey. You know, you're 10% done, you're 15% done, you're 30% done. Do that, because it will make you, when you hit that point of doubt, you'll be able to look back and go, whoa, look how far I've come. Look how much I've done. And when you look forward, you're like, wow, I'm already halfway there. So you get something to measure your progress. Check your tasks daily and your objectives monthly. This is a little bit more on the goal-setting side. If you did what I was talking about really breaking it down to the daily basis, make sure you're checking those things off. Am I meeting my monthly objective? Did I finish half the six-figure course I said I was going to take? Did I pick my niche at the end of month one? Yes or no? If I didn't, I've got to adjust. And you don't want, you know, you've got to be really careful with that. It could be very easy to keep saying, oh, I messed up this month, I'll do it better next month. Use that measurement every month to remind yourself, like, hey, you're not doing what you said you were going to do. You got to get back on this. Celebrate all victories and achievements. This is, I fall down on this. Cameron's on the phone. This is one of our core values at AWAI. And I walked by her desk yesterday in the office, and I said, oh, you have our core values up next to your wall, next to your desk. And she said, oh, but you'll notice the one that's highlighted is celebrate all the wins. And that's because we tend to overlook them. We focus on what we're not doing and how we failed or what we should be doing and all this stuff. And even when we win, we're like, hey, that's great. What's next? Marketers are notorious for this. Like, that campaign did awesome. Great. What's next? What's the next campaign? Take a second. Take a breath. Celebrate. When you get your first client, when you get your first check, the first time you let a client go because they're no longer big enough for you, the first time you raise your rates, all of it, take a second and celebrate that victory. It's huge. It's all of it is such, what you're doing is so important. It's so important. And each of these pieces along the way, it's part of your story. It's part of this path that you're on. So take the time to celebrate. Throw your hands up in the air, do your happy dance, share it with me. I love to dance. I'm happy to celebrate. Kay, Pam, Barb, Cam, Jay, all of us, we're really good at celebrating. So if you need people to celebrate for you, if you've got no one to celebrate with you, you tell us. We will celebrate the heck out of your victories and achievements. And then finally, adjust deadlines. Even though I said I want you to check your objectives monthly and I want you to make sure that you're not making excuses and letting things slide, life happens. Stuff happens. I get it. Stuff has happened to me in the last decade too. It happens. You will get knocked off your block. You will get knocked off your schedule. Life happens. We don't operate in a bubble. That's okay. When that happens, you have to just acknowledge it, and the minute you can get back in, go back to the beginning. Go back to the roadmap plan, get back in the car, and plan out your new GPS map. It's not going to be the same. Don't look back and say, oh, 2 months of my life got sucked out, and now I'm so far behind. You start, you take the first day, starts again. Where are you right now? That is now day one of your roadmap, and what is still now left to come. Don't look at it like a failure, or you'll just get caught up in the, you know, it's just not fair. Life took 2 months, or whatever the thing is. Don't let that happen. Just set it back up, and all right, I got my roadmap. I'm back in the car. I've got my destination, and I'm moving forward. Final closing thoughts just on all of this, and I've said this, but I just want to make sure everybody hears it. To make a living as a writer, you need to treat it like a business. This is not, I mean, it could just be a fun thing that you do on the side, and if that's you, that is totally okay. But, you know, 90% of the people who come to AWAI, it's because they want change. They want something different in their life. You're not happy with something in your life. You want more money. You want a different situation. You don't like your boss. You hate your commute. Whatever the thing is, you just want freedom, whatever. You just want freedom. In order to get that, it's going to take work. You have to treat it like a business. You need goals. You need to know where you're going, and you need a plan on how you're going to get there. It's the only way to ensure that you get to your destination is to have this plan. Otherwise, you're just going to keep floating. And you need to be able to make decisions and take the actions needed to move forward. Owning a business it's a big deal, right? So we have to be able to make decisions. We have to be able to make plans. We have to be able to move forward. It's on you. It's on you to succeed. We are here to help you all the way. AWAI is here until the end of time. Next year will be our 20-year anniversary. We've been doing this for 20 years. We've helped thousands of people make a living as a writer, be out there and be successful, well-paid writers, and we're going to help you too. But you have to make decisions, and you have to move forward. And if you get stuck, come to us. Let us help you make the decisions. If you're like, Rebecca, I get what you're saying, but I just can't decide between this or this. I'm paralyzed with analyzing this decision. Reach out. We're here. We're all here. All these people on this webinar right now, we're all here to help you. Our member services team, we're all here. You have to make the decisions. You have to do the work. But we will help you in whatever you need. If it's a connection, if it's an answer, if it's just a slap in the butt, like get out there and do it, or it's celebrating or whatever, commiserating, we're here for you. So definitely use us, but you need to treat this like a business and take those actions. I'm putting this in the slide just as a slide so that when this PowerPoint is posted, you'll be able to link to these things. But the past Inside AWAI sessions, we've done, I think, 6 now. This is our 7th. These have been, we're really focusing on what you're asking us for, how to pick a niche, how to get clients, how to land retainer gigs, where a client pays you every single month, where you're not having to find new clients month after month, how to start a business with no clients. We're really focusing on these topics. So we've done 6 of these sessions so far, and they're all recorded. We post everything. We post the Q&As. A lot of times I give away just random stuff like I did today. I thought, I should give them some sample roadmaps. We post anything that we talked about. We're turning them all into reports, but they're all there. So use those tools. The Accelerated Program for 6-Figure Copywriting, there'll be a link there. Advanced Copywriting Training, I thought I was going to mention, but I didn't. This is a simulation that we're doing. It's opening up again tomorrow if you heard about it. It's basically the Accelerated Program for 6-Figure Copywriting. That when you finish that course, you're able to be a working copywriter. That's the promise of that program. By the time you finish that course, you will be able to take on copywriting assignments and do the work. Advanced Copywriting Training is the simulation that we put you through afterward, if you want to, that we've just started this year, where you're actually working with copy chiefs, and we have 3 clients. And it's like, so if at the end of the Accelerated Program, you're able to take on projects, at the end of Advanced Training, it's as though you've been working for 2 years with a copy chief in a company like AWAI or Agora. We're basically putting you through our training that we put our in-house writers through. They sign a 2-year contract with us when they write for us, and it's the same training that they go through. You learn everything from ad inserts, news items, landing pages, advertorials, all the way up to sales letters and VSLs. So it's a full-on simulation where you're hearing from a copy chief regularly, you're getting feedback on your work. It's pretty amazing. That 4 weeks to B2B Mastery live event, mentioned that. That is for those of you who are going to be in B2B, 8 of the most in-demand B2B experts. I can't even believe that we're affiliated with these guys. They're just so good. Not only are they amazing and, huge demand, these Gordon Graham, Casey Hibbert, Casey Demchek, Steve Conway, Bob White, these are the guys in their field, the top guys. But they're just awesome teachers, and they're the nicest guys. But they're basically going to be you spend, I think, 2 to 3 hours twice a week with them. You're going to learn something. You're going to do the assignment. You're going to get feedback on it. Then 2 days later, you'll come to the next session. You're going to learn from one of the experts. You're going to do the assignment, and then you're going to get feedback on it and then move on. And the idea behind that one is that after 4 weeks, you have the project stuff under your belt. You can take on these projects. You understand how to build your business. You understand how to niche yourself in the space, how to price your fees, all of it. It's like the B2B business in a box from beginning to end. So that's pretty awesome. And then I just put our 2 foundation, for B2B, for those of you who are interested in B2B, that's the high performance course. That's our main basic B2B program, and then the web copywriting program that we were talking about, just if those are easy for you. So with that, I'm going to open up for questions. I see we had 104 questions so far. You guys have been doing a great job answering them. So should I hop over to the prioritized, or would you prefer to?
I saw a great question that I somehow can't find. Oh, here we go. It was a question about our setbacks and how we overcame them. Here it is from Ryan. What was the greatest mistake you ever made as a writer or in building your business? And what was the impact? How did you recover? So I thought that'd be a cool one for you to answer, Rebecca, and maybe I can too. And
I'd love for you to share it first. I want to think about it for a second. I'm so visual. I just read the question, so let me think about that for a second.
Okay, so I'll tell you mine. I tried to pursue a niche industry where I thought the money was, and I thought, oh, I can learn this and really get into it. And it was a big mistake because it wasn't me, and it wasn't authentic to what I'm interested in. And so it wasn't a waste of time because I learned a good lesson, but be true to yourself. Don't try to be someone else, you know. So if your heart isn't in something, but you go, oh, that could be the big money, it could be tricky and it could be harder for you. So I would definitely recommend focusing on things you love or are interested in or have a really solid background in and you feel like I'm the expert in this, instead of trying to chase something necessarily that your heart isn't in.
I think that's great advice. It's almost like the, follow your passion, the money will come, but it's not the woo-woo side of it. It's the, just make sure that you actually have passion in what you're doing. Pick a career that there is money in it, and then choose something that your heart is in so that you love going to work. I could write financial copy, but man, I would not want to get out of bed in the morning. That is not where my passions lie.
Exactly.
I think my biggest mistake was, as I'm thinking about all of my mistakes to date, about probably 8 or 9 years ago, I had this entrepreneurial just fever. I had worked before I came to AWAI, I had worked for a couple of .coms, so I had been through all of that, the venture capital stuff, and just seeing how businesses grow really fast, and I got all that. It was really exciting. And then I came to work for AWAI, and I was exposed to all of these people and opportunities. I was like, oh my gosh, I need this. I need to be this and that and that and that. And so I went through a couple rounds of coaching. I invested a lot of money in business coaching to determine what my next big venture should be on the side, what I was going to start, and I wasted a lot of time. Not only did I go down way too many rabbit holes, I never did the things that either coach was telling me to do, to make decisions and to get it done. So I wasted a lot of money. I wasted a lot of time. For those of you who are looking to hire a coach, make sure you're ready and make sure you're going to be taking the actions that they tell you to take. First of all, make sure it's a good coach. But have some experience in your belt. Be a little ways down your path so that they have something to work with. They're not just telling you the obvious stuff, like how to choose your niche and things like that. They're telling you, okay, here's what you did with that client that you should have done differently, where they've got something to work with. But if you're going to spend all that money, you've got to do. And I couldn't, it's what I'm telling you to do today, and that's make decisions and then take actions to move forward. I wasn't doing that. I kept going down rabbit holes, and really what it was, I found out in the end, 2 years and a lot of money later, I found out that where my real passion lies, and ironically, it does kind of dovetail with yours, Tam, my real passion lies in what I do here at AWAI, and I have changed a lot in the last 5 years with what my role is, and this is where I live now. I live to help writers make a really good living writing. That's like, I've tried to dabble in helping coaches and experts. I've tried to dabble in helping fiction authors and things that people I also care about, and I know I could help them, but that's not my strength. My strength is in helping people move forward in this profession. So now I focus all of my writing is on this topic, whether it's in this industry or for other industries. It really is on successful freelancing and getting out of your own way and really learning to take action. Basically, as I'm answering that, I learned from my own mistakes. So I think it's kind of ironic. This is where I ended up. But that's how I rebounded. I stripped all the other stuff away and decided to focus on this one thing instead of trying to build a bunch of other bridges. I just focused on making the bridge that I was working on the strongest it could possibly be. And that has been very, very effective for me. Next question. Do you want me just to go through these, Pam, or do you want to read any out? Or
yeah, let's go through. There's so many that are being added. help.
Well, why don't we just jump back? Like, I'll grab one, and then you can kind of look for one that you want to answer. We'll just go back and forth.
Okay. I see
okay,
one.
So I'll answer this one. Jennifer, any suggestions for dealing with setbacks, like a client who isn't thrilled with your work? Yes. Really, it might not be, first of all, clients who aren't thrilled with your work, it might not be you. It could just be the client. So that's one thing that you do have to kind of think about. But nobody is perfect. You know, you're not going to have happy clients all the time. You're going to do your best, but not everybody is a fit for you. So the best way to get through that is to know that, to have a thick skin, and then try to figure out how to make it better. It's most likely going to be a learning opportunity for you, and you want clients to see that you're able to take feedback, that maybe you didn't get the right direction, and so, but you want to make it right. So don't let it be about you. Don't let it question your ability, right? Just try to figure out what you could do differently next time. Analyze it. Did you have a clear scope of the project? Maybe you changed the way that you approach your next client or the next project because of that. You want to make sure that these things that got overlooked in this assignment don't get overlooked next time. Or it could be a variety of things. Just don't let them get past you, and go out to our groups. You know, we have these great Facebook groups. I think all of us are very hard on ourselves when we're in our own head and when we're alone. And then when you're out there with people who've been there and who've done that, and they're like, oh, that happened to me, and oh yeah, this is what, share your stories and get involved in our communities. I really feel that that's going to be the thing that will pull you out of that dark space of feeling bad about yourself. But audit the situation, figure out what happened, if it was a communication breakdown, and then think about how that can help you the next time to avoid that situation. Over to you, Pam.
Yeah, I've got another one here. Diane says, I need to launch my website, but don't have any samples on it. Is it okay to launch it anyway and add the samples as I write them? My response is yes. Go ahead and do that. In my experience, clients don't look at loads of samples. They just want to know that you have the chops. And if your website copy itself is very engaging and all about how you can help them, that is number one. And then as you get samples, you can certainly add them on, testimonials too, all of that good stuff. And if you even do a spec assignment and complete something as an AWAI exercise through our copywriting program, you could put that on as a sample too. They just want to know that you can write.
Agree. As a client, again, who hires copywriters, just like Pam as well, we just want to look to see, can you string words together in a persuasive and intelligent way that sell. I mean, you're basically showing that you can sell by selling yourself. So your website copy is a sample in and of itself, like Pam said. And a sample really just is a sample. Write an article, write an email, write a case study, write whatever it is that you want to sell, and show them that. Okay, so my mother language is Spanish, and I get this question a lot, actually, Lily. My mother language is Spanish, and I envision myself working in that language for obvious reasons. Do you have any recommendations in order to successfully complete the six-figure program? Did you have any cases like mine before? I've honestly never had a webinar where I haven't had this question. You don't need to work in English. I mean, clearly you can read and write in English because I'm reading your response and you're on this webinar. So I don't think you have to limit yourself to Spanish-only companies. So you could do this one of two ways. You could work for companies in the area that you speak. So I'm not sure if you're from Spain or if you're from South America, but you can work in companies in countries that are obviously marketing in that specific language, or you can work for companies in the U.S. who market in that language. The best way to find those is to, as you're doing your research for any kind of client, you would go to Google, right? If I want to write for supplements, health supplements for 55 plus, I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to pretend that I'm a person, a 55 plus person looking for health supplements on something, you know, menopause, let's say. So I'm going to Google health supplements menopause, and I'm going to see a bunch of companies marketing to me. So those are going to be potential clients that I'm going to target because that's my area of expertise as a copywriter. If I was speaking in another language or looking in another country, I would just go to that Google. Don't search in the U.S. Google, search in Google Australia. Like, search in that language. Search for websites that are written in the language that you want to write in. And now you know that they market in that language. So those are the companies that you're going to go after. They might be U.S. companies with just international sites that are in other languages as well, but you don't necessarily have to write for English-speaking. You don't have to write English copy. You don't have to write copy in English because there are plenty of opportunities across other countries as well as U.S. companies who are marketing to other countries. So hopefully I answered your question. As far as getting through the six-figure program, again, you're able to read and write. I don't think that that's a challenge. I would just, if you're going to write in Spanish, I would just do all of your exercises in Spanish. The only difference is that when you're doing the two that get sent in for our review, you'll want to write those in English just so that we can make sure that our reviewers can answer them, can give you good feedback on them. Over to you, Pammy.
Just typing a response to somebody.
Oh, you go ahead and you go ahead. I'll answer this one. Christina says, from your experience, is it possible for a client to refuse to pay because they're not satisfied? How is such a failure handled? Are there ways to determine if your writing is successful? So that could happen, I guess, but you would never work for that client again, ever. This is a fear, again, that comes up in every single webinar. What if somebody doesn't pay me? What if they steal my ideas? What if this stuff? It doesn't happen very often. Does it happen? Yes. In any form of business, in your personal life, you are going to, things are going to happen that are going to cost you money, that are going to waste your time. You're going to let your water run on your hose. This happened to a friend of mine, and there's going to be a $1,000 water bill that you weren't expecting. Stuff is going to happen in life. She says it's about 10% of your income every year is going to get just basically thrown away. So things like this will happen. The best thing you can do if you run into a lousy, unethical company like this is to walk away and just chalk it up as a write-off. Because if you try to fight it, you're going to spend so much time and energy. It's going to stop you from doing the work that you should be doing for other clients. It's going to cost you legal fees. It's just not worth it. Now, you can have good agreements up front. You want to work for clients that appear to be ethical. If your gut tells you when you start working with a client that there is anything shady going on, you run. You don't spend time with those companies. And again, it's not very common. I maybe hear one story every 3 months. Someone comes to me and says, hey, can you let your members know about this deadbeat company? We block them on direct response jobs, and but it's just not worth focusing on. As far as to determine if your writing is successful, now if they run your stuff and you wrote it for them, they didn't pay you for it, that's definitely unethical. There's, again, try to let it go and move on. I would try to get payment. I would still follow up and say, hey, we've got a deal, we got a contract, you need to pay me. Don't assume that they're not going to eventually pay you. They just might not want to pay you. They're going to try not to pay you. Still continue. Still be positive. Still just, I still want to be paid. You keep following up because they still might pay you. But then as far as determining was that copy successful for an unethical company like that, there's nothing, it won't even matter because even if it was successful, they're not a good company. But for those for the majority that you will be working with, you will have a good relationship with your clients. So when somebody writes a promo for me or does a campaign for us or a funnel, we're giving them feedback constantly. They know how they're doing, especially those that are royalty-based. They're actually getting a report every month that says, here's how your promotions are running right now, and here's the percentage of your royalty. That we have to share the sales with them because we want to motivate them. We want them to be excited and want to keep writing for us. So hopefully that answered your question. The short answer is don't worry about deadbeat clients. It doesn't happen very often. And if it happens, you just kind of got to write it off and say, that sucked. I'm not going to let that happen again. Like, I'm not going to work with that company again, and then just try to move on as best you can. All right. My little mouse is not working. Sue says, I've been reading copywriting ads for hiring. Some of the requirements scare me because I don't know all that stuff. SEO is one, but I can read and learn. So if you're applying for a job that has a specific requirement, you might want to learn those things. Beyond that, your clients may ask you things that you don't know. They hired you to write emails because you marketed yourself as an email copywriter. And they said, great, Stu, I love what you're doing with these emails. Can you please write us a video script? I want an email to go to this video script that sells this product. And you're like, great, I don't write video scripts. But that's not what you tell them. You say, absolutely I can. I've got time in my schedule about 4 weeks from now. And then you go to AWAI because you have a full catalog of programs and you already know that you've got a client who wants this thing, so that you're basically going to have the client pay for the product. you learn how to write video scripts, and then you do the work for your client. It's very common for copywriters to say, I don't have time, obviously, today. I can schedule this 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, and most of those one-off programs for us, our individual project programs, can be completed in a matter of just a few weeks. And the goal of them is to get you up and running, you know, to be able to write a case study, to be able to write a white paper, to be able to do a video script, an email, whatever the thing is. So kind of think of our catalog like that. Those of you who are Circle of Success or Infinity members who have access to everything, that's kind of one of the big benefits. You've got a whole library of stuff. So let's say you're working on case studies, you're working through that program, but your client says they need a press release. You put down the case study program, you go to the AWAI library, you download the press release program, and wham, you're able to write press releases. So think about it that way. Now, as far as people advertising, though, if they're looking for specific skill sets, obviously, you're going to need to be able to go in saying, I know these things. But in general, you're going to be going to companies specifically with what you offer. You know, most people who come to AWAI aren't looking for full-time in-house gigs. I will also say about ads, a lot of people who write ads for copywriters don't know what they're talking about. They don't really know what they're looking for. So it's probably worth a phone call anyways. If it's something that you really want to write for, call them and just say, here's what I do offer. I saw you had an ad for X, Y, and Z. That's, you know, I actually specialize in A, B, and C. I can do DEF that you have on your ad, but this is my wheelhouse, and I'd love to write for you on these things. And if they really want those other things, then you'll learn those things. And, you know, but to start that conversation, start that relationship. You'll also find on a lot of ads that they'll say things like, oh, needs a 5 years of copywriting experience, or 5 years, or a degree in communications. Usually that's because an HR department had a form that had to be filled out, and the marketer had to fill out the form in order to get the ad posted, or LinkedIn required these fields to be filled in, and so they had to put in something. It's still worth a phone call. Call them, sell yourself, start a relationship. You don't really know, even though you might not take that job, they might still also have freelance. You know, we hire two in-house writers every 2 years, but we also employ dozens of freelancers every year. Same with Agora, same with all these other big companies, you know, so it's still worth a phone call. But I like that you're already looking at ads too, that's good. Do you want to jump in, Pam, or should I keep on keeping on?
Oh, if you don't mind, I'm going to town here on answering people's questions by typing them.
Excellent. Okay. So designing a logo or header, Pam posted 99 designs. I also like just Fiverr. You'll pay $5, but for a simple one, you know, down the line, you're going to want, when you have a little more money and you have more money to invest, then you'll want a professional one designed, and you can get better people on Fiverr too. You can pay $20, you can pay $30 and still get a little bit more. But as far as like having just a professional header designed for your website, you don't have to have a fancy logo out of the gate, but you do need to have a good header on your website, something that looks professional, where the name of your business is well designed and clear. And you can also get that on Fiverr. It's Fiverr.com. All right. Kara, this question is Rebecca. How long did it take you to develop your technique for writing long-form sales letters? I understand the format, but I'm struggling to write persuasively and quickly. Speed comes with time. There's no, I mean, the first time I ever wrote a sales letter, it was months. Like, it was really, really bad. I was actually in a competition with another guy in member services, and he never finished his sales letter. But we were just internally competitive within the company. You're going to discover your own. You know, a lot of copywriters will start headline and lead and then write. I typically dump everything out first and then go back and write headline and lead, just because that's faster to me. I spend so much time that it just trips me up. I'm much better at like the page 3 on. I'm really good at offers. I'm very comfortable with that. Describing the product, I'm really good with that. You know, it's just that opening part that takes me a lot. Even in an email, if I write an email, I can write a 500-word email. That opening bit, you know, I literally will just type 1,500 words. If I'm only trying to get to 500, I'll just type as fast as possible, all the ideas, get them on paper, and then I'll cut a third automatically, and then I'll rewrite the lead. And so you'll develop your own process. Just give yourself time and just keep doing. It's just like anything, working out, cooking, anything. Like I'm a great cook now. It used to take me a really long time to make dinner 10 years ago, because I was so painstaking with like, what if I overseason it, and I didn't know how everything worked together. But now, you know, you've got your process. So just keep at it and just write every single day, you know, and you'll get faster and you'll get better. Let's see. Joel says, I'm a professional consultant and I write many reports for a living. I joined AWAI not primarily for income, but to become a better writer for my clients and myself. I would be unsure as to what clients to pursue in copywriting to become better at what I do. Well, it would depend on what you're consulting, what industry you're consulting in. That would be one idea. As far as being better at what you do, though, you really could just, it depends, if it's just about writing faster, for example, it would be one of those types of programs. If it's learning persuasive writing so that you can offer more than just reports, you know, I really think you kind of need to go back to the roadmap thing, like what are you trying to accomplish and what skills would you need to learn, and then how are you, and then just going back to our stuff and seeing how you would go about that. As far as what clients to pursue in copywriting, you know, you're a consultant. So you could work for consultants, you could work for entrepreneurs, coaches, or if you're consulting in a certain area, like I don't know what your background is, but let's say you are a consultant who specializes in J.D. Edwards accounting software, you know, well then I would probably approach accounting clients in B2B who are in the market for accounting software. So that would be my recommendation, is to go back to that beginning part to look at what experience do you have, what industries are you working in, what other services could you offer in that space beyond consulting now, and pick clients that way. All right, the fear, and Pam, just interrupt me if you ever want to jump back in, I'll just keep going otherwise. The fear of not having the skills and experience to be successful at this business is crippling and my biggest roadblock. When you first started out, how did you overcome your fears and find the confidence to push forward to a successful career? Pam and I are a little bit different in that one where we both kind of came from marketing backgrounds, so we felt a little more probably confident than most in this space because we were comfortable with the marketing lingo and knowing what people are talking about when they're talking to copywriters. But all I can tell you, to the most honest answer, is that the way our programs are structured, you know that the person who is teaching you is one of the best in the industry and is also an excellent teacher, and that people have gone through these programs and have successfully gone out following we call it the AWAI method. The way that we teach is very intentional. So you need to do the exercises that we tell you to do. Yes, you have to write out the sales letters in the accelerated program. You have to do exactly what we tell you in the order that we tell you to do it. If you do that, you will have the skills. From there, it's just practice. And there's no way, there's no button, there's nothing that you can push, there's no money that you can spend, there's no coach. You're just going to have to, Katie hates when I say make the leap, but she's like, I don't want people to picture jumping off a cliff. You just got to jump sometimes. But you kind of have to, because that's how you're going to learn and get past the fear, is you've got to jump in the pool. You can read about swimming all you want, but until you actually get in the pool and pick your legs up and float, the fear is going to be there, right, until you actually try. And are you going to make mistakes? Yeah, we all make mistakes, and I'm still making mistakes, Pam's still making mistakes. We can still get better. And maybe, Pam, you have some other advice for confidence, but mine is to just try and surround yourself by other people who've been through this. Join our Facebook groups, come to boot camp, connect with people in this community who are a little bit further down the path than you, because they'll be there to help you understand it. But at the end of the day, there's no pill. There's nothing that you can do to gain confidence. It's just trusting that AWAI's resources are giving you the skills that you need. You know, I'm biased, but I believe in them because I've seen so many people go through them. I know what's behind them. I know who the experts are. But you do have the skills, and then experience just comes with time, and you're going to get better. Pam, do you have any other advice for overcoming confidence to push forward?
Well, I think if you keep learning and practicing and making a momentum, for example, a lot of copywriters start out writing for a local friend who owns a business, and they may even do it for free in order to get a sample and a testimonial and get that under their wing. So then they can start building upon that and keep learning, keep reaching out to clients, and the confidence will come.
Excellent.
I know, we're looking at so many different questions.
No, they're all great questions. I really love Untitled Chapter, and I really value everybody here just giving us this opportunity to do this. You know, it means a lot to us that you take the time to spend with us, that you ask us your questions, that you put yourself out there. We want to help you, and we really just appreciate this opportunity. How do we contact any of you individually with questions? We are all on Facebook, or you can call the AWAI offices. We can put the phone number up here. We have the best member services team, the nicest group of people who are very knowledgeable about member services team, very knowledgeable about everything, our products, this industry. Do you guys see that? Okay, I think so. But we're on Facebook as well, so you can reach out to us there, or I'm available at askrebecca@awaionline.com. Katie's available at katie@awaionline.com, and then again, Pam is on Facebook as well. So that would be a good place to reach us. Which of the panelists had or have fears of rejections or not being good enough, and how did you get through them? I think this is kind of along the lines of what we were just talking about. There is no one, unless you have like delusions of grandeur, that you don't have a fear of rejection. Like even in my head right now, I can think of maybe 2 people. Even I know, and I'm not going to say their names, but I know big-time copywriters who have turned us down, not because to write for us, not because they fear rejection or failure, but because they feel failure. They don't want to go up against one of our other, because we have great copywriters who write for us. They don't want to go against another copywriter and not win. So everybody has fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of a client saying no. This is what I want everyone to know right now. You're all going to have somebody tell you no, everyone. Yeah. It's a numbers game. It's like rolling dice. Like eventually you're going to hit the yes, and you don't know if it's going to be the first call, the second call, the 50th call. So the first call that you make, the first email you send, the first networking event that you attend, whatever marketing method you use, when someone tells you no, you smile and say, heck yeah, man, I'm one step closer. I got one more no out of the way so I can get to the yes. The challenge is that you never know when the yes is going to show up. The yes could show up on number 1. It might not show up till number 10, but it's going to show up. And the more no's that you can get, you've got to keep moving. Like picture a calendar, you know, the boxes, and like a no in every box, and eventually you're going to hit those yeses. And then you might hit 3 in a row. So the idea there is you have to keep picking up the phone or sending an email or connecting on LinkedIn or whatever it is and get through those no's so you can hit the yes. And as soon as you hit a yes, make sure you pick up the phone again or send an email, whatever the method you're using, because the next one could be the yes, and the next one could be the yes, and you don't want to stop that momentum. Once you've got momentum going, you do not want it to stop. So pick it up again, reach out to one more client, try one more time, because there could be another yes. But you just have to, you just got to try and know that that's how you earn your stripes. That means you're in business. Once someone tells you no, it is official. You are a working copywriter.
Well, and I always think of that lovely Babe Ruth struck out as many times as he hit home runs, and that's kind of the way it goes.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't hit it out of the park every time. Otherwise, the game would be no fun to play or watch. Does AWAI have a class or webinar on how royalties work? I can just explain it to you really fast. Royalties are typically done on direct response, sales letters, emails, things like that. The responses are always trackable and measurable. So I send out the sales letter. It generates $10,000 in sales. You and I have a deal where I'm going to pay you 1%. So I'm going to pay you 1% of $10,000. That's it. You'll get a sales report from the client if you're doing a royalty arrangement. Royalties are usually between 2 and 5%. I've seen them go up as high as 10%. There are a lot of projects that don't have any royalties, especially in B2B. You're not going to find a lot of royalties over there, but you're going to find professional fees, consistency, loyal clients. There's, you know, there's a lot of trade-offs. But I know copywriters who won't write for anything unless there are royalties attached to it because they want those steady streams of income month after month. So royalties is really just an attachment to the sales that your sales letter produced, and then the percentage of whatever your royalty is. It's pretty simple. Hopefully that answered it. What's the best way to start a business if you need money? Oh, Douglas, this is a question. I get this one every webinar too. It always makes me so nervous. What's the best way to start a business if you need money soon? Resume writing, a money-making website. I realize the best plan is long-term, but can a person start quickly? This question always makes me nervous, and I always want to address it. I don't want to ignore it because I'm sure there are other people with the exact same question, so thank you for doing it, for bringing it up. Whenever I hear the word soon, though, I get nervous because in life, in business, whenever you're looking at the short game, you're not making the best decisions. It's just, it is what it is. It's a fact of this industry. Money-making websites is not quick at all. Money-making website is long game. That is, build a really strong business really slow. It's great because there's no deadlines, and you're creating an asset over time. So a year later, 2 years later, you're going to have a really good income stream, and you're going to have an asset that can actually be sold at the end, but it's not going to make you money month one. It could, but not a lot. It depends how fast you can get your site up, how fast you can get traffic, but that's not typically a path that we would say would be faster. So now I put all of my warnings out there that short game is usually not the best approach to anything, but I can appreciate somebody wanting to make money faster. You just don't want to come across, again, that word fast and soon. It's that desperation thing. Clients can smell that, and you want to be careful with it. It makes you make bad decisions, and you just don't want to come across like that. But now I'll answer the question. What I would do is I would focus on a single specialty. So newsletter writing. You can be up and running as a newsletter writer in a couple of weeks. The clients have money, so it's not like a resume writer where, yes, you can make some money quickly as a resume writer, you can get up to speed fast, but you're going to be selling to people who are going to be giving you $150. So you're going to have to get a lot of people paying you $150 to make a lot of money fast. And again, I don't want to say a lot of money, to make money fast. Newsletters, though, are going to be somewhere between $800, $1,200, $1,500 a newsletter. So depending on how much money you need to make, you might only need to make like 3 clients, 2 to land 3 clients. If you were to go through our newsletter program, it's very short. It's one of the fastest programs to get through. Michael Katz does an exceptional job not only at teaching you how to do it, but also how to land clients. He shows you who the clients are, how to pitch them. It's very reasonable to think that you could land 3 newsletter clients in a couple of weeks. So if it was me, that's probably the path that I would go down. I would go down one of those very specific single opportunities. I'd probably go for retainer type deals like newsletters. So newsletters, social media is a good retainer. Sometimes content can be a fast one, especially if you're just looking for, a couple $100 multiple times. That could be a way of getting started, but I guess if I was forced to pick one, I would probably pick newsletters, again, because it's quick to learn, quick to land clients, and the clients have money to spend. Me parting with $150 for a resume is harder than me, the chiropractor, parting with $1,200 for a newsletter. I have $1,200 as the chiropractor needing the newsletter. So hopefully that helps. All right. Oh, we're getting through them. We're almost done. 194 questions. Whoa. Kate is going to be so bummed that she wasn't here. That might be like a new record. Let's ask 5 more. Oh, 196. Ask 4 more questions so we can get over 200. I don't think we've ever had over 200 questions before. How do you avoid underpaying yourself for a contract? We have a great program by Elise Bennon that's all about that. We've got pricing guides and things that are free. If you just search our website for, what is the key phrase, Pam, for our industry 2016 rates. Actually, Cam, will you post that on this website or on this page? What is it, Pam? What's the title?
If you're able to go to our AWAI online and then into the navigation free articles drop down, it's called Copywriter Rates.
Oh, so it's
the industry report on copywriter rates.
Now, as far as the yes, so that will give you your rate ranges of what you should expect to be paid, and that's what we're telling marketers they should expect to pay. That's what we're telling copywriters. This is what marketers are expecting to pay. But how do you avoid underpaying yourself? There's so much that goes into pricing, from size of client to project. Like, is this a local yoga studio or is it a national chain? Is this letter going to bring in $10,000? Is it going to bring in $10 million? So much goes into it. Is it 10 pages? Is it 20 pages? There's a lot going into it. Pricing is a game that you'll get better at with experience. If you want help, though, because a lot of it's also a mental game. We have a great program by Elise Bennon on pricing, and it's in our catalog, I believe. But if you search our website on pricing, we've got a lot there, and there's a lot of free content there as well. But what Elise does is get you to understand the head game part of it on how to get the information that you need to make sure that you price properly. You want to know a clear scope of a project, and that means, how long is it going to take you? How many words? How many pages? How detailed? How much research is it going to take you? How much money is it going to make them? Like, there's stuff that goes into it. So there's no always answer that you're always going to be right. You're always going to price right. But pricing is a game. You're going to underprice sometimes, and sometimes you're going to overprice. and you'll learn that. But we have 2016 rates on our site. And again, if you read through some of our articles and possibly take Elise's program, she just does a really good job of illustrating how pricing works and sets you up to negotiate and understand what the right rate is. She actually negotiates for Bob Bly. Bob does not do his own pricing. She does it for him. I have negotiated with her for Bob Bly's services before, so she really knows what she's talking about. I started this with a limited amount of money. I have a hard time determining what program to get with the little I have left after the six-figure course. Any suggestions that would really help me get closer to making some money? So the six-figure program, the Accelerated Program for Six-Figure Copywriting, is everything that you need to be a working copywriter. You do not need to buy another program. So if you're limited on funds, the only thing I would probably recommend buying would be, you know, if you're having trouble building your business, something like that, like Marketing Confidence, or we have Getting Clients Roadmap with Joshua Boswell. It might be to invest in more business building stuff, but you have enough. Back in the day, we didn't have any other programs. You know, we had other specialty programs like resume writing and things that took you in different directions. But the copywriting program was the only program that we had. So all of our original success stories launched their business on the Accelerated program. They did not take any other programs first. So if I were you, I would get out there and launch my business and start trying to get some clients and then let them pay for continued education. I do believe in continued education. I believe that everybody should always be learning, because otherwise, once you're done learning, I mean, that's it. That's the end. So you should always be getting better. You should always be learning and investing in yourself. But I don't believe in over-investing up front. You know, you've got to make some money and then decide to reinvest some of that money into your business and into your career and into your personal development. So you have everything you need in the six-figure course. I would just focus on it. I'd get through it, and I would follow the directions at the end for launching your business. And then I would land a client and then maybe invest some of that money into additional programs. Hopefully that helps. If there's something specific that you're stuck on, then definitely come around to us and let us help you. But otherwise, you've got what you need. Don't buy anything else right now. Wait until you've got some money coming in. I just joined AWAI and have no copywriting experience. I do have a financial background. I didn't want to pass up on Mr. Makepeace's workshop, so I signed up. I am jumping into the deep end of the pool, not knowing how to swim. More power to you, Jane. You are definitely jumping in. You're going to be with some major copywriters. I would try to get through, if you haven't gone through the Accelerated course, I would definitely try to get through it just to, you know, be at that level. He's going to give you a lot of prep work before you even get there, so just jump and go with it. You are setting yourself up for, I was telling the team this yesterday, we had a team meeting. There's never been an opportunity like that event in the history of our business, and the chance of us ever doing something like that again, and I'm not trying to sell anybody, you've already signed up, so I don't need to sell you on it. I just want to congratulate you on grabbing one of the spots, and I really respect the fact that you jumped in like that. It's going to be higher level stuff, but you're learning from the best, and you're going to be, the fact you have a financial background, you're going to be working with like some of the best hiring the marketers and copywriters are there. Some of the people who are attending have asked us if they can also hire their fellow attendees because they want people who have learned from Clayton. So like, again, like Greg Rio, he's going to be there looking to hire other attendees. We have like half a dozen people who are attending. Paid attendees are coming to learn it and to hire. And then like 10 copy chiefs that you're going to be working with are 10 of the best copywriters that you cannot even hire as coaches and mentors, and you're going to be working one-on-one with them. So my suggestions for preparing is to get through the Accelerated program just as quickly as possible. If you don't have access to the companion series, just let me know, and I'll get you access to it, because I do want you to just watch the videos at least to get up to speed. But otherwise, I say go, jump in, follow it, you know, do what he says to do, and then when you get home, digest it and kind of go through all the exercises again. I think you're going to be just blown away how awesome this opportunity is. You're literally going to be in a group of 5 people with someone like Richard Armstrong, like huge.
Rebecca, if you want her to reach out to me, that'll probably be easier because member services can't hear this. So Jane, if you want to reach out to Jade, I know you're in the Facebook group, and then I can go from there and help her.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
I think we're done.
211 questions. You guys did it. Thank you. Katie's on vacation, on a very well-deserved vacation, and I'm going to text her in Italy and say 211 questions on this inside of AWAI. Yep. That is awesome. Wow, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Again, I really, really can't stress enough how much I value this opportunity. It means a lot to me to get to work with you directly. Pam and Jade and Cameron and Barb, thank you so much for answering questions and helping me, because there's no way I could do this by myself. And that's it. Good. This one's a wrap. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, Rebecca.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.